This is Being Awesome with Rob Springer.
And you're listening to Being Awesome, the podcast about loving Transformers and having fun. I'm Rob. Usually I have a little thing to say after I say I'm Rob, and this week I don't. YOLO. Do people still say YOLO? I think that's over now, isn't it? So YOLO. This week in Awesome, everything. Everything is awesome. And when I say everything is awesome, I mean everything is awesome. So much crap happened this week. That's awesome. So much news that's broken. I almost don't know where to start. I guess to begin with, I'd like to talk about Cybertron Con. I don't really know what's going on with it. From what I can tell, I think it's City Neon is the group from Malaysia that is been operating it over there, and they've got the license with Hasbro to operate it pretty much worldwide except Japan, because that's Takara territory, and I think like Indianapolis, where that children's museum is. Now, they've got an exhibit they're already launching, I think, pretty soon in Las Vegas that City Line's doing, and their license says exhibits and events, and it includes merchandising and stuff. So that would mean like toys and t-shirts and whatever. So, you know, little exhibits and all that, that'd be a lot of fun, or like some sort of cool party or what have you. That'd be great. But being that Cybertron Con got trademarked for use in the U.S., and that's a show that they operate in, I think it's Singapore, that raises the question, is there going to be another official Hasbro-sponsored convention? So I guess we don't know, although even a Cybertron Con, just judging by what I've seen at Cybertron Con, I've looked at it, it kind of looks like basically have you ever been to those local comic cons or toy shows that are basically like a dealer's room, and there's a couple of maybe celebrities from, like here in Atlanta we have, it's usually some people who play zombies in The Walking Dead, and a couple of pro wrestlers or whatever signing autographs. There's always George Lowe because he's local. It's almost like that, like a couple of Transformers people there, and a lot of displays, and some stuff, a shop where you can buy. So I have to wonder if that had happened here, and if it does, that'd be really cool, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't know if I can make it to a convention every year or not. If they have one of those nearby within short driving distance, that would be a very suitable alternative to, you know, a 4-day weekend out of state somewhere. You know what I mean? You know, I could really see myself driving a state over, doing that thing for a day, staying at like a Days Inn, and then coming home, you know, maybe meet up with some friends or whatever, see the town. So it certainly seems fun if that's what it turns out to be. Either way, I'm excited just because I'm a big Transformers nerd. I love Transformers. Love them. Can't get enough. So you tell me there's more things to do with Transformers, like events or whatever, I'm game. I am there. So that's really cool. To go along with it, the Hasbro, I always get the naming wrong. The investors meeting was this week, or this past week. And in all the same old they do, you know, this stuff here, made money or whatever, the term, excuse me, the name Transformers Micronauts came up, as in they have a line called Transformers Micronauts starting up soon. Being Micronauts, the classic toy line, is getting brought back out under the Transformers banner. Basically, I guess, using Optimus and the gang to usher them into a new generation. For those who aren't aware, Micronauts was made from Microman. Microman was a toy line Takara did that was like a science fiction line. And in fact, the Microman Micro Change line is where the molds for Megatron, Soundwave, the cassettes, Perceptor, Blaster, those came from. Reflector too, I think. And the figures themselves got licensed by Mego to become Micronauts. And it was a very cool sci-fi fun line. Oddly enough, that Microman body style, I think, became the engineering standard for the 3 1/4 inch G.I. Joes. The Micronauts became popular here in America. They got a popular comic series, and I was like a toddler when it happened. But in the early 2000s, when I was just getting done with community college, it made a resurgence, and I bought a ton of the Micronauts stuff, and it had a novel series that I really liked. So I'm a fan of Micronauts, even though they're older than I am. Now, Microman itself I always really liked. So it's cool to see, and I don't know, will it be Microman stuff from Japan released here? Because they just kept making Microman stuff, and it was always really cool. So that'd be really awesome. And using Transformers to introduce it would be perfectly fine, because it's a science fiction toy world. Why not use Transformers to help launch it? I mean, we're seeing Transformers Cinematic Universe. They like making a big fictional shared universe with Transformers, so it'd be a good time to do it. The closest we've come to seeing a toy or anything was in the corner of one of those pictures that looked like Biotron's body. And I can't help but think, with smaller toys being so popular with kids and stuff these days, small toys that are Micronauts would be really awesome, because they'd be actually to scale. Micronauts, for you guys don't know, are from a different dimension, where when they come here to Earth, they're tiny. That's really awesome. That's being awesome. It's in the name. Also, Hasbro dropped a megaton of cool toy picks Friday, and it was really cool stuff. Let me get a drink here to wet my throat. The minute I start recording is the minute I start getting the dry throats. Wow, that was fuzzy. Have a sip of Pineapple Sunkissed. My coworker, whenever he sees me drinking pineapple soda, thinks it's disgusting. And I told him, you just don't know. Pineapple Sunkissed and Pineapple Crush are amazing. They taste like candy. It's like a vanilla soda with pineapple in it. So it's really different. Like, you get a pineapple Fanta or another pineapple drink, and they just kind of taste like sugary carbonated pineapple juice. This is like a pineapple lifesaver. I love it. I like Crush better, but Pineapple Crush is a little harder to come by. Or at least here anyway. But back to the figures. Excuse me. I'm going to start off with the RID stuff, the new RID toys. They've got a whole lot of new miniguns coming. And I love miniguns so very much. So very much. Not to mention what's cool is, apparently there's 2 packs with a Minicon versus an Autobot or a Decepticon, where it looks like a Legion-sized toy with clip-on armor. The Minicons already have clip-on armor that you get enough figures together, you can assemble the clips into making another Minicon. Well, the clip-on armor for the, bulk of the unit can come apart and be assembled into a weapon that, say, Bumblebee could use to fight one of the guys. That's so rad. There's also Minicon 5-packs coming. I'm assuming those are going to be at like Toys R Us or something. And those are mold reuses, it looks like, of the guys that were released. But really nice looking stuff. And, there's new deployers coming out. Of course, there's a Arctic version of Drift coming. The Drift that's already out, like a redeco, that looks pretty nice. The one that's got my interest is Overload. He's a brand new mold, and he looks cool. It's not unfair to compare him to Impactor in the way he looks, but that's apparently pure coincidence. He's very cool looking. I've always been a fan of Overload from the Micromaster all the way to mainly more. The Micromaster's awesome, but the Armada toy Overload I've always really loved, and so I can't help but to automatically be attached to a new Overload, even though it's not the same mold or anything. But I hear that name, I gotta have it. Speaking of gotta catch 'em all, there's a new blind bag line starting. I think they call them alt mode or something. The name escapes me at the moment, and they look so cool. They're going to be blind bag figures, which everyone listening knows I love. The blind bag figures, the figures are like, I guess, super deformed style, not quite QTF style, because those guys are adorable. These are like, they actually look like how the Transformer characters look in Battle Tactics, the mobile game. It is very similar to that in sculpt, how their whole look is. And what the figure is, it's a big old head with a tiny little robot body that has a tab on it. That's, of course, the Decepticon or Autobot symbol. And apparently you pull that and it'll fold into itself and transform into its alt mode, like a chubby little jet or truck or whatever. Those look so charming and fun. You know, with blind bags, sure, getting a super serious toy. In fact, I just got the woman, some of the Walking Dead minifigures, and those are pretty neat. Those are tiny little, well-sculpted little figures. But when you get a blind bag figure, having it kind of stylized in a way is really cool and kind of adds to the collectability of it. It makes you want to buy more because you're like, I want more like this. And, you know, so it all really works. And being a little gimmicky thing like it is, it's all good, man. It's all good. I'm like trying to stifle a yawn as I talk. There's, of course, more Generation toys coming out in the Combiner Wars and Titans Return assortments. They showed the G2 version of the Combaticons, which is awesome. I was looking at thinking, man, I almost want to skip the regular Combaticons because I'm getting all the G2 sets. That's non-negotiable. I'm getting them. And I'm like kind of looking at my Superion and Minosaur and looking at the Combaticons I haven't gotten yet, thinking, kind of just want the G2 ones. Now, a lot of people had speculated if they made a G2 set of Combaticons that they would maybe have a shuttle blast off, and that's not the case. It's still the aerial bot mold reuse. I think it's Quickslinger that they're using for blast off, which I know a lot of people didn't like, and my sympathies, because first picture I saw was Bruticus, and it looked right to me with the jet there. Even though it was a jet instead of a space shuttle, it was a similar enough shape and the colors that looked right. And I'm not going to lie, that brown and black jet was pretty striking to me. And in the G2 Blastoff colors, that sells it a little more. I mean, it almost looks like a cyber jet. So I'm totally fine with Blastoff being a jet in the set. It's Combiner Wars. It's not the original toy, so I'm okay with it not being the same, you know? That's just how my mind works. But I'm really looking forward to this G2 set. I really like the Brawl and Swindle. Those two look really nice. And funnily, I almost said funnel cake. Funnily enough, on their slides, they switched their names. So if someone didn't know any better, they would think Swindle's name is Brawl. But those two look the best out of them, to me anyway. Can't lie. The other guys look great, but those are the two that really pop to me. You know, it's just like, bam, look at these guys. And I'm just thinking after I said that, you know, Blastoff it's a really good set in the G2 colors. But going into Titan's Return, there's the Blaster in the slides, and it kind of didn't show us anything any more than we didn't already know, which the toy looks great. I'm really looking forward to getting it. And they showed Art of Fortress Maximus coming, and with the slide that leaked out, I think earlier last week, we already kind of got an idea that he looks a lot like Fortress Maximus. Now that slide, he looks very squished down and weird proportioned, and it's not too hard to look at and tell that that picture got scaled to fit the slide. So I wouldn't doubt the actual toy looks a little bit more proportionate. And I'm really looking forward to it. I love Fortress Maximus, so getting a brand new one is a good thing. The bombshell of all the reveals, though, was Power Master Optimus Prime. Holy crap. Those of you who know me, really know me, know that the Power Master Optimus Prime is my favorite Transformers toy ever. Ever. And I've been wanting an update forever. You know, I've got my original one I got in 1988 for Christmas. I was in the 5th grade. I got the reissue that came out of Toys R Us. That was just a God Genrai reissue gift set in American packaging. Which is funny because I also got the God Genrai reissue gift set package. So basically I've got Power Master Optimus Prime and 2 Genrais, one that swears he's Optimus Prime. There's also a cool PVC of a couple of PVCs of Power Master Optimus and Genrai. Those sculpting of those are really cool, and I've got those guys. I love Power Master Optimus Prime, and I've been really looking forward to one. And this one does not disappoint me. And he looks to be a very heavy retooling of the Ultra Magnus leader toy from Combiner Wars, which a lot of people had been discovering a base mode in their Ultra Magnus, and go figure, because that's the base mode for Power Master Optimus Prime. And it looks great. It's great. It's retooled in a way that it's almost like it looks like it's like I'd say like a 80-75% reshelling of the toy, and it's more of a shared engineering than anything else. The truck cab looks pretty similar, and that's about it. And it's mentioned on the slide. It's like Apex Power Master Prime, because with the chest and all that, it kind of looks like he's got the God Bomber or Apex armor on, which is fine with me. I always like that look. Can't wait to get that. Cannot wait. I'm so excited for that. You guys have no clue. I might make a big fool of myself when I get it, because I am not waiting. You guys know our friend Don on RFC proper, for years, for decades, hounded Hasbro for the Headmaster RC. This is where I relate with him, because I'm probably going to go just as ape crap over Power Master Optimus Prime. The thing for me is I never expected to get an update, so awesome, awesome, awesome. I might get to. I hope Japan, Takara, makes 1,000 recolors of them. I want a Nucleon Quest. I want a Fire Guts. I just keep them coming. I will buy them. I love, love, love this mold. So, I'm really excited. I know I don't sound really excited, but, for those of you watching the video on Facebook and YouTube, you guys might notice I look a little different in this video, and that's because I have a new mic set up. I have a new microphone here and some headphones on, and I got my mixing board over to the side. I'm still kind of working it out. I don't have a proper boom for my microphone yet. It's still on the way. So I'm using the this wire boom I have for periscoping with my phone, and I've got it suitably held up, but the microphone's just a little heavy for it, so I got it just right, or it might just fall over. And because my toy room is in a constant state of disarray, I got 2 boxes to the side that the mixing board's sitting on, and I got a box full of comics, and I should move the camera to show you guys, but I'll just describe it. And audio viewers always do that. Audio listeners, you just have to believe me. The box that the mixer's sitting on is actually the shipping case for the Optimus Prime Toys R Us reissue, the commemorative one from '02. I got one of the shipping boxes, and I got comics in it or something. And I just think it's funny. I might keep it that way just for charms. Just for charms. Where do I manipulate the language in such a horrible way? But yeah, hopefully I sound better. I did some test runs and it sounded better to me at the time. The audio quality, I'm not used to the mixing board, so I hope I got a good mix down. So hopefully the audio listeners, and there's more audio listeners than video viewers. I think there's like a couple of hundred video viewers, and there's like several hundred thousands a week of audio listeners. So hopefully this sounds a lot better, because before I was using the microphone on the webcam, which sounded great, but it also picked up every single thing in the room. So hopefully I can get this down and start sounding much more better. When I was several years ago, I was an office manager at a security company, and it was a horrible job that didn't pay anything. Kind of glad that place went out of business. I had to do some calls to companies, asking about their stuff that we would source from, and they had this model DVR, and I was like, now this one here, the blah 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 blah. It's a model number up. It costs like a couple of hundred more. What makes it much more better? And I heard the guy go, hmm? And ever since then, I'm laughing at myself with my ridiculous phrasing. I only speak English. You think I could speak it correctly? Well, all that news out of the way, let's get to the Q&A portion of the thread. I always do that. The questions and awesome portion of being awesome. The Q&A thread is exclusive to the Talk Transformers Facebook group, which is on Facebook. And if you guys want to join, why haven't you? Go join it, please. Facebook, go search it, Talk Transformers. Join. The absolute best place to talk Transformers on the internet. And if I'm wrong, I'm not. You're wrong. Yeah. Anyway, this week's question comes from my pal Six Shot. Six Shot is one of the admins, actually, of the Talk Transformers group, and he also has his own podcast called Transformers and Such, as well as he does a lot of video reviews. So you should really check him out. He does great work. Six Shot goes on to ask, "Hey man, Six Shot Changer here. What is the most apt crossover with Transformers that hasn't happened yet?" Well, I actually thought on that one quite a bit, because you said what's the best that hasn't happened yet. Transformers is pretty much crossed over with just about everything at this point. In some shape or form, there's a crossover already. And so I was thinking the best ones have pretty much already happened. I think a Justice League and Star Trek would probably be really awesome. Justice League more than Star Trek, I think, because I could see that really working out with the cosmic stories and all that. So, but however, instead of going into it too much, because like I said, they've crossed over so much with stuff, I think I would tell you the most random crossover that could happen. It hasn't happened yet, and it'll never happen. And it's one I thought up a long time ago when I was in college. It's not really a long time ago. It just feels like it. Funny how the years make you feel older than you are. The internet has a way of doing that. And so does being in a fandom like Transformers has a way of making you feel much older than you actually are. It's really weird. I've mentioned before, I'm a really big horror fan as well. And, like a bunch of different genres of horror. And one of the genres I really enjoy is Japanese ghost stories, those type of movies. And I'm a really big fan of the Ring series. You guys know the movie The Ring, which went starring Naomi Watts. Well, that's actually based on a Japanese series. There's like a series of novels that started off everything, and then there's several movies and all that adapted from it. In fact, there's like TV movies and all that, because The Ring, is much different than the source material. It was actually a movie adaptation that you can find easily called Ringu. That's how they sell it here instead of just Ring, I guess, just to separate it from the Naomi Watts movie. It's where they first started really differentiating from the source material, making it more of a ghost story than it was a ghost story to begin with, but the way it works is a lot different. I'm not going to go into spoiling, just kind of go check it out. Pick up the book. It's a great book. It's called Ring. But being said, I was watching one of the movies is called Ring Zero, and it's based on the fourth book called Ring Zero, which is actually a anthology story of different stories upon in the Ring universe, and the movie's based on a story called Birthday, which is basically about how Sudoka was in an acting troupe and started really discovering her powers and stuff like that. And I was watching that, and of course, being a Monster Transformers fan, my mind is tying them to everything I see. And I was watching Ring Zero, and my mind started coming up with a Transformers crossover with The Ring. And I spent several days working out the story. I was going to write it. I was going to write it and publish it on some fan fiction site and probably be laughed out of existence because I have horrible grammar. And the story probably would have been terrible. Like, and then the Autobot did this. And that's probably how it would have been. And I probably misspelled there and misused commas, and God, it's like the evilest thing you can do, according to some people. Like, that's not how you spell your. Look, I'm sorry. I was typing fast. I spelled your right. Just used the wrong version. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm glad it ruined your day. But anyway, I digress. The story I'd come up with, and this is ridiculous. You guys know Eject, the Autobot cassette. I've always liked him better than Rewind. Not for any particular version other than I just really like the blue. And my idea was Daniel Witwicky, his friends at his school were dying. And Eject was going to help him figure out what was going on. And that's where he discovered they've all been passing around the Cursed Ring video cassette. And to save Daniel from dying, they made a copy of it onto Eject. And then Eject, of course, had the curse in him. But being that he's Cybertronian, not human, it didn't work the same way on him. So Sudoka was just basically haunting him and driving him crazy, but wasn't killing him. So using this knowledge and all that, he managed to find all the copies of the tape he could and destroy them. That way, the curse was stuck with him. And then by the end of it, he basically sacrificed himself and annihilated by jumping into a fuselage or something, which pretty much annihilated his entire body, wiping the cursed video from existence. Saying that out loud, it doesn't sound as bad as I thought it did, but it probably would be completely horrible, fleshed out. Like, I can't think of a way that it wouldn't be. Like, it could be James Roberts and could write that story out really well and really fleshed out. And everyone would be like, wow. And then by the time they're done, they're like, it's by the time you get to the end of it, it stops. I don't know why either. It's probably just like, I don't know what I was thinking other than this is awesome. Probably for the best I never wrote it down. But yeah, that's not probably the most apt crossover, because the most apt one's pretty much already happened, aside from, like I said, Justice League and maybe Star Trek or X-Men, maybe Silver Surfer. Yeah, that'd be cool. So I know I didn't answer your question probably the way you wanted it, but hopefully you liked my answer anyway. So guys, that was Being Awesome. Thanks for listening. Being Awesome is part of the Radio Free Cybertron family of shows, and you can find us at tfradio.net for shows and showtimes. And while you're there, check out the Amazon links onto the side. Using those, it's always so awkward trying to describe this without being corny or shilling or anything. Basically, if you just click through those when you next time you shop through Amazon, no matter what you actually buy, just click through those links and effectively you support us without paying anything extra. And that's awesome. We appreciate it. Thank you. I'm Rob. You can find me at RoboRobSpringer on Tumblr and Twitter. And, of course, like I said, check out Talk Transformers. I'm there. You can tell me how much you hate the show in person. Please don't. I have feelings, too. But, thanks, everyone, for listening. And I hope everyone has a good week. I never know how to end this. I usually am saying bye and clicking stop. I already made a YOLO joke, so, yeah. So, yeah. I'll just click stop now.
This has been Being Awesome with Rob Springer.